The Big Three: Wizkid, Davido, and Burna Boy. From Nigeria to the world, the story of Afrobeats' global kings. By BB Hike Entertainment Gist. Afrobeats is no longer a niche sound, it's a global movement. And leading this wave are three Nigerian icons: Wizkid, Davido, and Burna Boy. They each represent a different frequency of the African sound: Wizkid's calm sophistication, Davido's explosive charisma, and Burna Boy's revolutionary depth. This isn't a ranking. It's a narrative journey through their backgrounds, artistry, business power, and cultural influence, showing how three different men shaped one global sound. The differences between Wizkid, Davido, and Burna Boy, three of Nigeria's biggest music stars. Let's delve into a particular angle of their careers, backgrounds, artistry, business, influence, and how they compare. This is not a definitive ranking. It's a narrative comparison and should be seen as insight rather than judgment. Origins and upbringing. Wizkid, born Adedeji Balogun, emerged from Surulere, Lagos, where he grew up in a fairly large family, navigating the youthful streets of a major city and dreaming of music. Burna Boy, born Dumini Agulu, was born in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria. With family ties to the music business, his grandfather once managed the legendary Fela Kuti. Davido, born David Adeleke, has a somewhat different origin. He was born in Atlanta, Georgia, USA, to Nigerian parents, raised partly in Lagos, attended school abroad and then returned to Nigeria. Their backgrounds give them different starting points. Wizkid with early local street cred, Burna with an intellectual/musical family lineage, and Davido with access to resources and global exposure early on. These origin stories influence how they connect with fans, how they brand themselves, and the paths they take. Breakthroughs and early career. Wizkid's rise began in the late 2000s with Holla at Your Boy. His boyish charm and smooth melodies quickly made him a national treasure. Davido exploded soon after with Dami Duro, a high-energy anthem that redefined what a Nigerian hit could sound like. Burna Boy's debut, AFE, 2013, was different, fusing reggae, highlife, and Afrobeat into something richer and more layered. Different routes, same destination. Wizkid climbed gradually through collaborations, Davido broke down the door with hits, Burna built a bridge between culture and consciousness. Musical style and artistry. Wizkid is often described as having a smooth, melodic style, combining Afrobeats with R&B, and working internationally, for example his collaboration on One Dance. Davido leans more into Afropop hits, big choruses, dance-friendly rhythms, strong commercial appeal. Burna Boy labels his work Afrofusion, blending Afrobeats with reggae, dancehall, hip-hop, and speaking also to more serious themes. Because of this, you might say, Wizkid equals global pop with African roots, Davido equals Afropop king of hits, Burna Boy equals genre bender with deeper lyrical content, often. Their sound palettes differ in mood, intent, and texture. Metrics and reach according to streaming metrics. Wizkid had over 6.7 billion streams on Spotify by April 2024. Davido had at least 1.8 billion Spotify streams in that same window. For YouTube across major platforms. Wizkid had roughly 9.5 billion streams across platforms in one dataset, while Davido had about 5.5 billion. Social media follower counts. Davido 57 million across major platforms, Burna Boy 43 million, Wizkid 41 million. What does this tell us? It highlights that while all are major, their global reach and audience engagement differ. Wizkid's streaming edge suggests a strong catalog and international consumption. Davido's high follower count suggests strong fan support. Burna Boy somewhere in between but with strong global presence. Business, branding, and endorsements. Davido has secured major endorsement deals. For example, with Puma, smartphone brands, and other global brands. Wizkid too has international recognition, though perhaps fewer publicly cited mega-brand deals in the sources I found here. Burna Boy has expanded beyond music into fashion and global brand awareness through his African Giant persona and global tours. In this sense, Davido might lean more toward commercial branding, large-scale endorsements. Wizkid toward steady brand presence with global collaborations. Burna Boy toward a more high-conscious, global fusion branding with a cultural message. Global impact and influence. Wizkid was the first African musician to fill the 6,000-seat Royal Albert Hall in London. Davido headlined a 20,000-seater arena in Washington during his Timeless album tour. Burna Boy's international tours and album releases have placed him firmly in the global conversation of African music exports. Hence, all three have significant global reach, but their form and scale differ. Wizkid's high streaming and global pop collaborations, Davido's big arena shows, Burna Boy's genre crossover and cultural ambassador status. Themes and lyrical depth. Burna Boy often tackles themes of identity, colonial legacy, diaspora, and social issues, as explored in African Giant and other works. Wizkid and Davido lean more toward themes of love, celebration, success, lifestyle, though each artist does have variation. Therefore, if you're looking for deeper lyrical or thematic content, Burna Boy might edge ahead. If you want catchy party/celebration hits, maybe Davido or Wizkid suit that more. Collaborations and cross-genre work. Wizkid notably featured on One Dance with Drake, which had major global impact. Burna Boy collaborated across genres, hip-hop, reggae, etc. Davido also has many features and global connections. Thus each makes collaborations, but the nature and impact of those collaborations differ. Wizkid's global mainstream pop collaborations, Burna Boy's genre-bending, culture-forward collaborations, Davido's commercial hits with global focus. Fanbase and cultural resonance. Davido is known for a loyal Nigerian fanbase, his group/brand, 30BG, strong presence in Lagos/Nigeria. Wizkid similarly has strong local and global fans, Starboy. Burna Boy has broad African diaspora appeal and is seen as cultural ambassador. So depending on which market you focus on, Nigeria locals versus African diaspora versus global mainstream, each artist resonates differently. Strengths and weaknesses compared. Strengths. Wizkid, strong global streaming, smooth international pop sound. Davido, big hit maker, strong branding, commercial mass appeal. Burna Boy, depth in artistry, global fusion sound, cultural weight. Weaknesses or perceived gaps. Wizkid, some argue less edgy or less experimental compared to Burna Boy. Davido, may be seen as more commercially oriented, less experimental or thematic. Burna Boy, sometimes less mainstream pop hit oriented, so maybe fewer big party hits compared to Davido. Who's the king and why it's complex? Many fans ask, who is number one? But it's not a simple matter. Metrics, streams, awards, tours, artistry, cultural impact, global reach, each weighs differently. As one Reddit comment put it, Wizkid is the best/biggest Nigerian artist. Burna number 2. Davido 3. But that's a single view. Others would reverse order or pick differently based on criteria. The narrative of King of Afrobeats shifts depending on what you measure. Hits versus artistry versus international awards. Legacy and future paths. Looking ahead, Wizkid is consolidating his global position and perhaps shifting toward mentorship and legacy. Davido may continue focusing on hit production and global collaborations, maintaining mass appeal. Burna Boy may deepen his fusion, explore more political/cultural themes, and expand his influence beyond music, fashion, culture, activism. Thus the difference between them will also play out in their evolving careers. Cultural and social impact. All three have cultural impact beyond music. For example, all supported the End SARS protest against police brutality in Nigeria. Burna Boy frequently addresses African identity and diaspora themes. Wizkid and Davido influence fashion, youth culture, and global perceptions of African music. So beyond songs, each contributes to how Nigerian/African music and identity are viewed globally, but they do so in different tones. Market position and genre placement. Genre-wise, Davido is firmly in Afropop/pop dance territory. Wizkid is Afrobeats/pop with international pop lean. Burna Boy frames his work as Afrofusion, melding multiple styles, sometimes more experimental. This determines the types of audiences they attract and the types of songs they produce. Awards and recognition. According to one source, Wizkid has won at least 88 career awards including Grammys, BET, MTV, etc. Davido has at least 69 career awards. Burna Boy also has multiple global awards and is recognized internationally. These recognitions matter in how they're perceived in global versus local markets. Touring and live performances noted, Davido headlined large arenas, 20,000-seat Washington, during his Timeless tour. Wizkid achieved major landmark shows like Royal Albert Hall. Burna Boy has large-scale UK/international stadium shows. The scale and type of live show differ. Some focus more on spectacle, others on global markets, others on immersive cultural experience. Public image and personality. Wizkid projects a cool, somewhat reserved image. Davido often projects high energy, flashy lifestyle, partying. Burna Boy often presents a serious, conscious persona combined with showmanship. These images affect how their fans relate to them and how the media portrays them. What sets each apart? Here's a succinct difference list. Wizkid, global pop icon from Nigeria, bridging African music and international scenes. Davido, hitmaker, commercial Afropop star, strong brand and Nigerian mass appeal. Burna Boy, boundary-pushing Afrofusion artist, cultural ambassador, deep-themed. Each has overlapping domains, but their core strength and brand lean in different directions. Why it matters for African music. The rise of these three artists matters because they each contribute to the rise of Nigerian/African music globally. Their differences show that African music isn't monolithic. There are flavors, mainstream hits, fusion, deeper artistry, global collaboration. For younger artists and for the continent's music industry, their paths provide templates and distinctions. One can aim for hit density, Davido, or international pop, Wizkid, or deeper fusion, Burna Boy. They broaden the possibilities. Final thoughts and choosing your preference. So when asking who is best or who is different, the answer depends on what you value. Are you drawn to chart-topping hits and big songs? Davido might resonate. Do you like smooth international crossover, polished sounds? Wizkid might appeal. Do you value lyrical depth, cultural weight, and genre bending? Burna Boy may be your pick. In the end, each is great in his own right and their differences enrich music. The key receipts behind the biggest milestones. Wizkid, Royal Albert Hall, 2017, widely reported as a sold-out headline show. The Guardian framed it as the first African artist to headline a sold-out Royal Albert Hall, while others note he was the first Afrobeats headliner there, not the first African overall. Davido, O2 Arena sellouts and Timeless tour. Documented sellouts at London's 20K, capacity O2, 2019, 2022, again in 2024, during/around his Timeless run. Burna Boy, London Stadium, 2023, reviewed as the first African artist to headline a UK stadium, with a huge, band-driven show. Grammys. Wizkid received a Grammy for Best Music Video as a credited artist on Beyoncé's Brown Skin Girl, 2021. Burna Boy won Best Global Music Album for Twice as Tall, 2021. Davido has 4 nominations through the 67th Grammys, no win yet. Conclusion: 3 crowns, 1 continent. Wizkid opened doors, Davido filled arenas, Burna Boy changed perceptions. They didn't just conquer charts, they redefined what it means to be African on the world stage. So, who's the biggest? Drop your comment in the comment box. 4 hits and hype, Davido. 4 global cool and streaming weight, Wizkid. 4 depth and cultural resonance, Burna Boy. 3 kings, 1 kingdom. From Lagos to London, from Port Harcourt to Paris, Afrobeats reigns.